Elsewhere, Egyptian students have held protests in different parts of the country against deadly violence at Al-Azhar University. Protests also took place at the university a day after clashes between supporters of the ousted president Mohamed Morsi and security forces left at least one demonstrator dead. This as a court in Cairo has sentenced 38 Al-Azhar students to 18 months in jail. Egypt has been the scene of violent protests against Morsi's ouster at the hands of the military on July the 3rd. Large numbers of people have been killed. The protesters want Morsi to be reinstated. Egyptian security forces have harshly cracked down on his supporters and the Muslim Brotherhood movement, on whose ticket Morsi won the presidential election last year. Well, to discuss that further, we're now joined by Mohammed Chalabi, Press TV's correspondent, who's joining us live now from the Egyptian capital. Mohammed, it seems that maybe the army might just have gone too far vis-a-vis this attack on the dormitories at Al-Azhar.
Well, this is big, Waqar. This is very big, and the government is now saying that it will not force police or army to take permission from the prosecutor general or from the heads of concerned universities or dormitories to get into the campuses of universities and dormitories, and this is a huge step that could backfire, because it would either mean a total, complete crackdown against students inside universities, students who now represent a major force in the anti-coup protests, and the youth have always represented the center forward, if you will, or the striking force in any such moves, or it will, get things out of hand. So it's a very delicate situation indeed. The government seems to be terrified about the situation. It says now that it will quickly ratify a law on protest that many fear could represent another crackdown against freedom of expression here in Egypt. We've seen the constituent panel tasked with writing a draft constitution, saying that it will install within the draft constitution an article on terrorism. It seems that's another step that is being taken by the government, which, according to anti-coup activists, is trying to fabricate a war on terror just to give a pretext for security forces, especially the army, to stay out there on the streets as the situation gets more and more complicated. We're getting closer to 100 days since the inhumane crackdown against the supporters of army overthrown President Mohamed Morsi in Rabaa and Al-Nahda, and there are huge calls for protests on Sunday to commemorate that anniversary. And back to the Al-Azhar situation, Waqar, the latest is that 17 new students have now been held 15 days, have been detained for 15 days in connection with the dormitory events where one Al-Azhar student was killed by a police bird shot and 10 were injured and arrested. And we also had this case today that saw an 18-month sentence for students who took part in anti-coup protests, and although that again raised the criticism and the objection of students' unions around the country who demonstrated in support and solidarity with Al-Azhar University students, it was nowhere near the.
All right, Mohammed, I do apologize, but I will have to stop you there. But of course, we do appreciate that detailed update. That was Mohammed Chalabi speaking to us live from the Egyptian capital.